We're here in Ottawa, Canada for the 5th and 6th round of the Red Bull GRC series.
The weekend was pretty up and down, a pretty emotional weekend for us. Both drivers found some really good time in their practice on Thursday, and then Conner started to struggle a little bit with his consistency as we progressed through the heats on Saturday's race. So he ended up in P9 coming into the final, which isn't a great starting position, to be honest. But he was able to battle back and take the third podium position, which was a really great race for him, and he was able to find his focus again and be very consistent in his driving. As far as James goes, this was his best weekend to date. He really stepped up his racecraft. He was looking for the lines, looking for opportunities, and placed very well in all of his heats and his semifinal. So he went into the final in a good grid position, and him and Conner are actually battling pretty hard for between 3rd and 4th position up until the end when he crashed.
So the final was going fantastic. I had a great start, drove some really clean laps. Was sitting 3rd for a majority of the race. Ted had a great call with my joker, and it put us just in prime position. The white flag came out, and I went a little wide on the dirt corner, and Conner got right inside of me. So we were having a battle for 3rd there. You know, he overtook me there, and we came around the corner, back onto the tarmac into the fast right-hander, which is the top of 5th gear turn. And there was a gap. I spotted a gap, and I put it in there, and the gap got smaller as he got closer in, and you know, all of a sudden it was there wasn't any room at all, so I couldn't back out at that point, and hit the tires and went over basically. As I was going over, you know, I realized that was the end of that race. Conner and I talked it out afterwards, and we're fine. And we both go out there with knowing that Conner's chasing a championship, and it's just my first season, but we both go out there knowing that we're going to race, and both of our spotters know that. We go out there and try our hardest, and sometimes it's a little bit too much. Coming back, I knew the car was pretty badly done in. They towed it back in. We got back there. I took a moment to collect myself, and went out and talked to the guys, and apologized, and they showed me what was wrong with the car, and it looked like the front frame was actually uneven by about 8 millimeters, so that would have just thrown off everything on the car. We had to go strip the entire front end. They spent all night until about 2 a.m. doing that. They worked their butts off to get us back out there, and I came back this morning, Sunday morning, with a car that was arguably better than the day before.
Today started off really well. In qualifying, we got P2 by not even a 1/10 of a second. We went into the first heat race, and we got by Cyril in the second turn, and we led the whole rest of the race, which was a huge confidence booster. Going into the second heat race, we got bumped from behind and bumped Cyril, and we both spun out, and I was trying to play catch up the whole race, and then Cole Keats had a broken car and spun out in front of me, and I had nowhere to go, and I hit him. But it was okay because it was only heat 2. We still had a semi to go, so I was, my attitude was still going forward and not to dwell on what happened in that race. Unfortunately, in the semi, I made a really big driver error, and I hit the tire stack on the 3rd lap, so that automatically put us in the back of the pack for the final. So in the final, we were starting P10, back row. I got a super good start, but unfortunately in the first turn we got some contact on my door, and it unlatched it, and it wouldn't latch again. So Andrew was coming onto the radio and telling me that they were going to black flag me if my door kept opening. So I had to finish the race with driving with one hand because I had to hold my door closed the whole time. It was really difficult, obviously, but I'm happy with the 5th place out of that.
Conner and I had great starts. He was starting P10, I was starting P5. I got bumped a little going into the first corner and lost a couple spots, but drove a really clean race, put some fast laps down, and ended up in 4th, which was great. It's my best finish to date. We know we have the speed, and we're hoping for podium soon.